Something I've been enjoying lately is the process of tapping color from plants onto fabric, using plants just from around the yard. This process is known as tataki-zome or hapa-zome, and it's pretty straightforward, easy way to dye textiles naturally. I've been using it to do some crafting, and in this video I will show you my process. This mallet does not work well for this process. I've learned that over time, after purchasing a set of these about a year ago or more to use for this process, it just doesn't hammer effectively in my opinion. So what I started using was my pestle from my mortar and pestle set, which I couldn't find that day. But here we are the next day and I was able to locate it and it works so much better. So I prefer to use this rounded tool for this process. For the craft that I'm going to be doing, I like to use contrast dyed textiles. So this is just fabric that I dyed using flowers from what's known as the sausage tree, also what's scientifically known as Kaale africana. It's a very nice plant and it makes a nice pink color, sometimes burgundy. So I'll be using this fabric as well in my craft. All right, I was actually talking in this clip. However, things got a little bit chaotic and noisy with my children in the background. So I just decided to cut the audio and do this voiceover. And I'm basically just going over the pieces. I'm going to be making cloth bookmarks, 3 different ones, but 2 different styles. So the first will just be a typical rectangular bookmark as shown here by these pieces. And I'm going to add this piece as a tassel that hangs out of the book. And so I've added interfacing to both sides to make it stiff. And then I'm going to sew on this tassel, which was also dyed with plants, just a little piece of fabric. And then I'll be doing 2 of the corner bookmarks, and that involves 3 pieces, one folded, 3 squares, I'm sorry. One of the squares folded in half to create a triangular shape, and then interfacing sewn to one side of the triangle, so it will be the back side. And then I do interfacing on one side of the square, which would be the back of the bookmark. And this is just based on tutorials I've seen of people doing this. I think you could do interfacing on both sides just to make it even more stiff. And yeah, these are just the pieces, so they'll be sewn together in a particular way. And as I said, this concept, this style of making this just is something that I learned from watching others do it. My children have made these bookmarks of paper during the origami process, so they're familiar with this kind of bookmark a lot as well. But we're going to be using cloth. And this is just an example of one on a book that we've been reading for months now. But yeah, so that's how it works. I ended up having to regroup on the sewing because my needles were not sewing correctly. So I just took a break on this day. We went to an event, a powwow at the museum, and then I had to go get some new needles because apparently with all the layers, my needles were not sufficient. And so I just got some heavy duty denim needles that helped, but there's still something up with my sewing machine that I'm gonna have to look into. By the way, this is one of my favorite books to look through when learning about dyeing textiles naturally. Yeah, so these are the bookmarks. I always enjoy making these. They're pretty simple and fun for me to do. So this is one way that you can use your textiles that you've dyed using the tapping process. Thanks for watching.